Hey guys, it is MissSimReno. If you are returning to the channel, welcome back. And if you're brand new, I am very excited that you decided to join me here today for another speed build. And today we are building a huge house, for me it's huge, in Brindleton Bay on, I want to say this is a 30 by 40 or 40 by 30, whichever way the proportions work. It's huge. I think it's a 40 by 30. If not, it's like a, do we have 40 by 40s in this game? I know it's not a 30 by 30 because that's the lot across the road from this one, which was smaller, which I should have built on because I had so much space to work with for this freaking build. It's a long one, so buckle up, get your coffee or something like I have, and cozy up, just enjoy it for what it is because it's going to be a lengthy voiceover and a lengthy build. And if you stick through all of it, you're amazing. So we are building in Brindleton Bay, which, as I've said many a time before, I'm a New England native. So the Dutch colonial style of home and Brindleton Bay in general, just my favorite things ever. I absolutely love it. It feels like home, obviously holds a special place in my heart. So I wanted to build in this world, and primarily though, because Simlessy, who I'm sure you all watch and absolutely adore, recently did a build. I think she titled it like a writer's cottage. She built in Brindleton Bay, and she used this combination of this, I want to say this is like a shingled siding from, I think it's Growing Together, as well as some of the horse ranch windows and kind of this darker roof. That color combination, I'd never seen it before. I thought it was stunning. The thumbnail showed up in my For You page and I was like, what in God's name is that? And I immediately went to watch it because it was just so beautiful. I couldn't not. So I wanted to use that color combination. I want to tip my hat to Simlessy for that one because it's beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. I don't think I ever would have discovered that combination on my own. So kudos to her because I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. And I love the high contrast, I think, too, with the white swatch of the windows that I used from Horse Ranch with this very saturated siding, even though it's not a color like yellow or blue, because I know we have kind of those really vibrant colors in this particular siding as well. But this one's really nice. I love the orange honey tone to it. I use that word a lot in describing like wood textures, but I absolutely love it. And then in contrast with the white windows and pillars that I used, or columns I should say, and then the dark roof, as well as I added red flower boxes. Everything really, really pops. I can't wait for you all to see it. Like, I know the thumbnail probably gave you a very good glimpse of what the exterior looks like, but when you see the screenshots, I promise, at least I think they're beautiful. I'm biased, but I think this is a really pretty exterior and I'm really proud of it. And I think the interior, I struggled with it. I did kind of go back and forth with what I wanted it to look like. And you know what? I was showing this, as I was making this, I was showing this to my friends, which if you're wondering, I do that all the time. I show progress pictures all the time to my friends and I get their input because contrary to what you may believe, even though I have a whole YouTube channel dedicated to building and playing The Sims, I am not always sure with what the heck I'm making and what I'm doing. So I always bounce ideas off of my friends, Reese and Rachel, as well as my dear friend Tanya. And they all said that this looked extremely autumnal. And I realized I am just in that mood, or mode even. I am in that mode already. I know it is August, okay? I know it is. But a lot of the stores like Home Goods, TJ Maxx, they've all started putting out their fall and Halloween decor. And I believe the Spirit Halloween stores are starting to pop open. And that's just where my head's at. I am in a Halloween, fall, autumnal state of mind, and I will not apologize for it. I've said this many a time. I am not a summer gal. Summer is not for me. I don't like it. I don't like the heat whatsoever. I am extremely privileged in the fact that I have air conditioning in my home. But man, the heat, like I feel like I can't enjoy going outside. And that's my complaint. I like being outside, but I'm not really a beach gal because the beach is probably fun. Let's be honest. The beach is fun for like an hour or two. Then you're really, really hot, surrounded by people. And it drains the life out of me. Like my energy is completely zapped when I have to spend too much time outside in the summer. And that's why I get all flustered. I want my fall. I want autumn because I want to be able to spend time outside and not feel completely and utterly drained after like an hour or two. That's my gripe. So I'm in this state of mind right now. I feel like this build looks super autumnal. The inside, maybe not so much. It's not like I decorated for fall or anything like that. I didn't decorate for any particular season. But the inside has a lot of that like honey wood tone as well to kind of match this exterior, which I don't always do. I don't always match the interior and exterior, but I just love that wood tone. I'm really, really gravitating towards it recently, so I've been using it a ton. But as you can see, we're now working on the landscaping, and I do a certain amount of it off camera. There are a lot of things that I did do off camera for this build because it took me a very long time to bring everything together, sort things out. And like I mentioned earlier, I had so much lot to play around with. Like the house is done and it's a big house. And I sat there, took a look at the lot, and I said to myself, what am I going to do with all the space? Like what am I possibly going to do with all of this? So there's a decent sized backyard. Most of it is done off camera, but I do show a little tiny bit of the process. And I go back and forth with the interior and exterior. It feels like a lot in this particular build because I would have an idea for something and I would go ahead and just execute it before I forgot it or felt uninspired to do it. And I bounced around a ton. So hopefully that doesn't get on your nerves. And if it does, sorry, it is what it is. So sorry. But I added some rocking chairs to the front porch. And I also added those rocking chairs, I think, to one of the other side porches as well. This is actually very reminiscent of a house that is literally built across the street in this particular save file. I think it's, I don't remember. I think it was like an autumnal build that I did last fall. Yeah, because there's like hay bales and pumpkins and stuff. It's not decorated for Halloween, but the exterior is very much decorated for fall. And the interior is very like dark wood tones and reds and gold. So I was trying to really get that autumnal feel for the interior. And it's across the street. And the shape of this house is very reminiscent of that, though there are some slight changes to the front. But like I think the side and back porches are essentially in the same space, which it's not a complaint for me. I mean, I did what I could, and I hope you like the shape, but it is very reminiscent of that if you have seen that build as well. Maybe I'll put a card on the right-hand side of the screen for you now, if I remember to do it. If not, it's not too far back, I don't think. I don't know. But now we're on to the interior and the floor plan. I held off floor planning this build for like 3 days after I finished the exterior shape because it was really hard. It was really difficult, and I knew it was going to be exceptionally hard to floor plan upstairs as well. But I finally figured it out. It's a little bit awkward, I would think. Like this, there's kind of like this middle hallway space. It's really big. It's really big and to me unnecessarily big, but I couldn't figure out another way to kind of break up the space without divvying up little teeny tiny rooms everywhere that just didn't feel like it would fit for this home. So there's a huge like middle hallway, and I kind of went for this odd, well, actually, I can't say odd. That's not fair. But I went for kind of this gray color scheme at first with dark blues and greens. And I do keep this couch color with these pillows as well, with these decorative pillows. I think I keep all of it, but I toned down the gray a little bit. I don't think I keep that rug. I bring out this rug here from Base Game because it has kind of grays, it's got some browns, some tans, some blues. It all kind of sort of matches. And then I darkened up the curtains and realized it was an overload of one particular color that I wasn't really going for. So I do change the curtains, I believe, to the ones from Eco Lifestyle. They are that girl. I love those curtains from Eco Lifestyle. And I choose them in kind of a gold because it's a very neutral color. Maybe not gold, maybe like a sandy tan is what you'd call that color. But I think it kind of brought things together a bit more. And I used, like I mentioned, these honeyed vanilla kind of wood tones everywhere. And I brought it through with a lot of the horse ranch things. Actually, it wasn't just like the windows that I used. I used a lot of horse ranch in this build. It's just very rustic and cozy to me. And that is totally my vibe. I'm realizing that horse ranch has some of my favorite build and buy items in The Sims 4. I'm realizing that now. I use it so much more often than I ever thought I would. I just absolutely love the items. So I did kind of carry this color scheme, I want to say, through a majority of the build too, except for maybe the kids' rooms and stuff, because those are usually a bit different. So this is I should probably mention, this is a 4-bed, I want to say there's 4 or 5 bathrooms too. There's a lot of bathrooms in this build, but one of the bedrooms is what I would consider a guest bedroom because it is just a double bed, very plainly decorated. I didn't make it for any particular sim in mind. And that's because I was keeping in mind the fact that we have stayovers from growing together. It's something that I always kind of forget about. And it's really easy, maybe if you have like outdoor retreat, to grab one of the blow up mattresses and kind of simulate that you're having somebody over, but they stay maybe in like the living room or something if you have the space. But I thought having a dedicated guest bedroom in a house this size made sense. So you could absolutely eliminate that bedroom and turn it into an office. You could turn it into a very specialized bedroom if you had a bigger family in mind. But just know that there is a guest bedroom that you can absolutely change and adjust for your needs or liking. And now here is kind of a back entryway. I would consider it a mudroom, actually. Maybe the mudroom should have tile. I don't know. That would probably make sense. But I didn't add tile here, but there is, I want to say I get rid of this laundry day kind of coat rack thing. And I think, yeah, I use this kind of custom, if you will, wardrobe from Horse Ranch, again, because it just matched. I use the ottoman from wardrobe, the ottoman from Horse Ranch, as well as this bench. I just thought it was such a nice, simple little mudroom where you could grab like your coats and your shoes and your boots, and you could sit down on the bench and kind of get ready to go outside if it was winter or fall or whatever the case was. Maybe the kids were out back playing in the sprinkler, or they were in the pool, and that's an opportunity for them to kind of like get rid of all the sand and maybe change into something quickly. I don't know. That was kind of the thought. But here is the entryway as well. It's a bit small maybe for a house this size, but I really wanted to squeeze in a bathroom here as well. And this is just a half bath. So actually maybe it's a 4.5 bath. Maybe it's that. I think it actually might be. Yeah, it might be a 4.5 bath house, because there is a full bathroom down here, as well as, yeah, there's 3 full bathrooms upstairs. So it's a 4.5 bath. That's probably the most number, like the highest number of bathrooms I've put in a build in some time. And it's never a bad thing. It might seem like overkill, perhaps with the number of bedrooms, but I'm also thinking gameplay, okay? And if you have 5 to 6 Sims in a house, I, as a player, me personally, as I'm trying to get all my Sims ready for the day, get them out the door for school, work, or whatever, and it's all at the same time, and they're all on this schedule of having to use the bathroom and shower in the morning, I need an equal number of bathrooms to the number of Sims I have, usually. And I never build that way, but I'm trying to be more cognizant of it. So there's a lot of bathrooms here is what I'm trying to say. Now here is the dining room. It's huge, and there's kind of this awkward little offshoot here, this little like side area. So I added a console table as well as the stand-up upright piano that I absolutely adore from growing together, because I thought that would be a great opportunity to have another kind of activity in the house. And I didn't want to put a grand piano because it really wouldn't have fit the vibe at all. There's also a lot of rocking chairs and just armchairs in general throughout this build with pillows in corners, because I couldn't think of anything else to put there. I'm kind of in this weird, I don't know if I'm still in burnout, but I'm in this weird rut where I cannot think of what you might actually have in a home. I look at a corner of something and I'm like, plant, chair, light. That's it. Like I can't think of anything else. So adding, I did it off camera, but I added like a chess table behind the couch in the living room. And that was like a big brain moment for me. And then I think I also add the Don't Wake the Llama table to the kitchen. I know, kind of an odd place to put it, but there's kind of like this window bump out in the kitchen, and it's a really big kitchen, like a huge galley kitchen with an island. And I add the Don't Wake the Llama table with 3 chairs because I thought maybe in the mornings while like the parents are making breakfast, the kids could be playing Don't Wake the Llama while they wait for breakfast to be served, and then they could all run to the dining table and eat breakfast together. I just thought it was a cute idea. That was kind of the only thought that I had while I put it there to justify my use of the Don't Wake the Llama table in the kitchen. But I think it worked. I think it ended up looking really nice, and it was a good use of the space. I was going to add perhaps a couple of armchairs, but that just seemed more like a staged kitchen than one that had purpose, or at least like it didn't have purpose. Like that particular thing wouldn't have had a lot of value, because I wouldn't have my Sims just go and sit there in the kitchen. I'd want them to be doing something. That was my thought process. But what do you all think of things like that? Like, do you put random activities like that in spaces where they may not typically be? I don't know why I'm thinking about this so hard, but I am. Anyway, the dining room is almost done as well. It was difficult to decorate. I considered adding a high chair here in the corner, but I believe I get rid of it. I'm not 100% sure. I think I do. Now, the family dynamic that I was building for was 2 parents. I think they had 2 kids and then an infant as well. I think I add toddler potties throughout the build in preparation for that infant eventually becoming a toddler. But I didn't add a high chair. I don't think I ended up keeping it. And I didn't add a ton of toys throughout the home. So that's kind of up to you all, depending on the dynamic that you have. And I was so excited to use those backsplash tiles from the brand new expansion, Love Struck, because it matched perfectly. Because I used a lot of, as you probably noticed, a lot of blues and again, this honey wood tone throughout the entire build. And I don't finish the kitchen before we move on to the upstairs, which is really odd to me. I usually do the kitchen and living rooms first, but this build was throwing me for such a loop. And I personally don't like galley kitchens, so I struggle when I build them. When I actually build them, I get really irritated with myself, and that is what happened here. I don't know why I don't like galley kitchens. It's not really fair because this one was really nice and it has this huge island. So I was really excited for that because I never get to build huge islands that have function at all because I never have builds that are big enough. But yeah, I was really upset because it was a galley kitchen. I was like mad at myself. So I didn't finish it right away. And at this point, I was exhausted by this build already, and I had an entire second story to furnish. So instead, I tried to change things up. I went upstairs and I decided to furnish some of the bedrooms. Now I realized as I was watching this footage back, I am so sorry. I didn't even film the primary bedroom. And you know what it was? I got distracted because when I was furnishing the primary bedroom, I was actually chit-chatting with Tanya, i.e. Griffey here on YouTube, and I was having like a conniption trying to figure out that primary bedroom when I was on a call with her. And I must have just forgot to film it. So so there's that. I forgot to film it. So here we are furnishing the infant's room, the nursery. I was doing this, I'm not gonna say it's a weird thing. I thought it was maybe kind of a creative idea. I was trying to get curtains and then I was gonna add like a piece of artwork that looked like the outside. So it kind of was a faux window because there's no windows in this room because of where I had to put the roof pieces to achieve this shape. And I thought it was a nice idea until I executed it and I didn't like it anymore. But I also struggled with how to lay out this room because it was a bit smaller than the spaces I was working with downstairs. So I was trying to find a way to make this work. I knew I wanted there to be a rocking chair because I put rocking chairs in almost every nursery now because your Sims can actually sit there and rock and feed and give the infants naps while in a rocking chair. So it's actually perfect. So I ended up keeping the rocking chair. I've got this dresser from Cottage Living, and I do change up basically that side of the wall a lot. I get rid of these little faux organizer things because I also realized that I hadn't added a, what's it called? Changing table. There we go. I hadn't added a changing table, and those are something that I put in every single nursery. It's self-explanatory because they're infants. And you can also use changing tables for toddlers, which I learned a couple months ago and felt like sharing right now, apparently, with all of you. I do really like the nursery though as well. Now, off the nursery, there is a full bathroom too. This was a bit odd for me because typically I would do an ensuite bathroom maybe for the primary bedroom, which I didn't do here. There is a full bathroom right next to the primary bedroom. But I thought with having an infant and eventually a toddler, it might be nice for them to have their own bathroom and their own space where you can have, all the bathtub toys and the training toilet, like all this stuff. So it's not, I feel like you could kind of make your own mess there and it's fine because no one else has to use that bathroom. That was my logic. So I did have a full bathroom here off of the toddler room, as well as this is the full bathroom that's actually right near the primary bedroom. I do change out the double sink with countertops instead of the individual sink from Horse Ranch as well, just so it matches. But I really liked the toddler bathroom. I thought it was really fun. I did use, which I think I've only done maybe once or twice, I used one of the decals from the bathroom clutter kit. I think it's the little fish. And I used the little whale bath mat for parenthood, got the little toddler potty. It was an opportunity to make this bathroom more custom for a kiddo that doesn't have to be shared with everybody else. So I thought it was kind of nice. Like, does it completely match or anything like that to the rest of the house? It kind of, sort of, but there's just a lot of kid items in there too. And I really wish, I know it pops up, I think when you have toddlers in the bath, like the sim will pull like a rubber duck out of thin air and play with the toddler, and the toddler might be able to play with it too. I wish there were actually bath toys for toddlers and kids. Wouldn't that be fun? I feel like that would be super fun. Anyway, we're here at the kids' room now. So I wasn't thinking that they were necessarily twins, but there are 2 kiddos here, maybe preteens, maybe kids. I don't know. It depends on whatever story you want to go with, but it is a very bright room. And I'm not saying like super vibrant colors, but we've got like pinks and some teals, and we have again these honey wood tones that I used throughout the entire build. And it was Tanya that gave me this idea because this room is a very weird shape. And she was like, okay, bed here, bed there. You can get 2 beds in there, and you can put like a dresser here, whatever the case was. And I was like, that's perfect. I'm doing that because it's kind of like it's almost like a cross-shaped room. At first it was kind of a T-shaped room, but it just called for things being kind of stuffed in their own corner and leaving the middle open for maybe like the void critter table, which I believe I ended up using. And then these kids both share a dresser. And then we have this custom like cube organizer thing from high school years, like the modular stuff that we could kind of pull together. The slotting on these items, I will never understand, which is why I keep placing a ton of the same item in all of these slots so I can then manipulate where the item goes, like where I actually want it to go. I've got a mirror over here. I pulled out the hopscotch randomly and I placed it outside just because I was thinking I might use it, but I don't end up using it because I usually like to put that in a driveway, and I did not create a driveway or a garage for this build. There's an activity table. I think we have one of the Bigfoot stuffies, or like the cat stuffy. Maybe I used the cat. I don't remember exactly. And again, we've got the void critter thing, which I almost never use. I try to use it a lot. I've been trying to use it a lot more. We also have a toy chest, so they've got access to toys. They've got this little tiny bookshelf from Cottage Living, just a few different items for them to actually use in their room, make it a functional space for them. Because again, I didn't add a ton of kids items, toys, or activities throughout the build. I've been gravitating towards that more unless there's a very specific theme I'm going for. I leave a lot of the activities to the kids' rooms compared to the living spaces because I want to kind of leave it up to you all if you want the kids to like take over the house and have those activities all over the place. Because also, not only is it for aesthetics, but I feel as though it comes down to the convenience of gameplay. Like I might not want my kids upstairs in the room doing their activities all the time when everybody else is downstairs. So maybe I'll add an activity or two to a living space or like a hallway or something. So everybody's just on the same floor while I'm playing. But I want to kind of leave that all up to you as well to kind of customize that. But anyway, I just used the tool mod to shift the orientation of these pillows from the Little Campers kit to again add a bit more customization to the beds. And then this is the guest room, a very narrow guest room, might I add. Like super, super narrow. But I tried to pull in the color scheme, though I brought in some bright greens in here instead, though it's the same bed that I used in the primary bedroom, just a different swatch. It's a little bit brighter in here, a little bit more energetic, I suppose. And I matched it with that base game piece of artwork as well, that tropical one. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. But again, very, very simplistic. Same dresser and mirror from the primary bedroom as well. And as you can see, now we're back to the exterior temporarily, because we still haven't finished the kitchen. Don't forget, we have not finished the kitchen yet. Your girl forgot about the kitchen as I started doing the landscaping. I was like, wait a minute, I didn't do the kitchen yet. And it's primarily clutter. Like that's all it is. I cluttered it up. I think there's a handful of open countertops, but since I did have such a huge kitchen and so much counter space to use, I ended up being pretty happy with it because I was able to add so much more clutter to this build, which was nice. And something I've been forgetting to do a lot is adding additional appliances like microwaves. And I also had the opportunity to add a dishwasher here because we had so much space yet again. I believe I keep the waffle maker too, as well as that coffee machine or espresso machine. I like to think of it as an espresso machine from the Cozy Bistro kit. Is that what it's called? Cozy Bistro? I think it's Cozy Bistro. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll look at it. If I'm wrong, I'll look at it afterwards and feel real silly for how confident I was in saying that. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I really like this little espresso / coffee machine. So I added that here. And I also did this thing. I haven't done this in so long. I went into the debug menu for base game and pulled out this bag of coffee, as well as the little jug of milk from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack debug. I haven't done that in years. I'm pretty certain it's been years. I used to do that all the time. There was a point in time where I was a debug maniac. I was in debug pulling out every little detailed item that I could, like a pen or a notepad. I used to pull out that remote control in debug all the time and put it in my living rooms. It was a way of life for me, okay? And now off camera, you can see I obviously added a pool. It just took me a while to finagle how I wanted to lay out this backyard. And as I mentioned, a lot of it is done off camera, so I apologize, but we do have a nice rounded oval shaped pool with we'll say a diving board, a diving podium, post, like what do you call that? I don't know. We've got some floaties in there as well. We have the water balloon bucket, we've got a few lounge chairs, and I pulled out beach towels, but I get rid of them. And then in the backyard, I do end up just adding like an outside dining space, a grill, there's a swing set, and then I cheated up and upgraded a huge treehouse for the kiddos as well. But the backyard is kind of scarce, so please feel free to add more activities as you see fit, because some of the ones I even have out now I don't keep. I struggle with yards this big. I don't know how to separate them. I don't know how to do it at all. It's something that I really am trying to work on. I've been able to make some backyards look so natural, and then others are really like chopped up and cut off, like with fencing and stuff. I don't know. It comes down to like a mindset sometimes when I'm approaching a backyard. But anyway, we're getting very close to the end of the build. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. I cannot wait to hear your thoughts, and I will catch you next time I post a video, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Lights shining from the window late at night. I'm just watching someone else's life go by, wishing it was mine. Dreams, everybody has them at the start. Somewhere along the way they fall apart, and it makes it kinda hard to look up at the lights. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I could finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. Try your best to hold on to the rope. We all have a reason to let go, and it's easier to do, but it's better if we don't. When the lights go out, everything is clearer. When the lights go out, I can finally see what it's all about. Standing in the mirror when the lights go out, it's you looking back at me. When you wish upon a star just to find out it's a plane, and when you think you've come so far, but you're standing still again, and you finally understand. When the lights go out, everything is clear. When the lights go out, I could finally see. When the lights